Good afternoon, class. Today we are going to be discussing MLA format. This is me, your instructor, Miss Cline-Douthitt. MLA format stands for Modern Language Association. It is the primary way or format for documenting sources that you will use in your papers. We will also discuss APA formatting a little bit later in this class. APA formatting stands for American Psychological Association, but our primary focus will be on MLA formatting. One of the first things that you want to think about when you are trying to structure your paper in MLA format is the manuscript setup. And what I mean by that is how your first page looks. Even for your first essay, which it is not required that you use any outside sources, it is expected though that you set the paper up in MLA format. MLA format does not require a title page. On the first page of your paper, though, you will place your name, the instructor's name, myself, Miss Cline-Douthitt, the course title, and the date on separate lines against the left margin. The title of your paper should also be centered. Each page should have a page number preceded by your last name in the upper right-hand corner. The entire paper should be double-spaced throughout, and there should be 1-inch margins on all sides. In this example, you can see your information, my information, and the class information on the left-hand margin, the page number and your name in the right-hand corner, and the title in the center of the page. So this is an example of what I was talking about on the previous slide. The two things that we're going to talk about today specifically with MLA formatting are in-text citations, which is how you cite a source within the text of your essay versus a works cited page. And the works cited page actually goes at the conclusion or the last page of your essay. As you see in the text here, the MLA system of in-text or parenthetical citations was created in the early 1980s with print sources in mind. Electronic sources, which you will be using a lot of, have different rules. We'll go over some of those basic rules today, but some of the same general principles apply. Generally speaking, the point of an in-text citation is to get you to the works cited page so you can look up the information and do additional research on the source. MLA follows the author page method of in-text citations. What I mean by that is the author's name and page number from the quotation or paraphrase must appear in the text, and a complete reference must appear on your works cited page. The author's name may appear in the text or in the parenthetical citation, which is what is documented at the end of the sentence, but the page number must always appear in that parenthetical citation. Let's look at these three examples. In the first example, it says William Wordsworth, stated that romantic poetry was marked by, quote, a spontaneous overflow of powerful emotions, page 263. Because Wordsworth's name was mentioned in the text, you only then have to list the page number in the parenthetical citation. That's example 1. Example 2 says, romantic poetry is characterized by the, quote, spontaneous overflow of powerful emotions, Wordsworth 263. In the second example, I have not referenced his name in the actual sentence, so I need to put his name, then the page number, and then the period outside of the parenthetical citation at the end of the sentence. In most situations, though, when you are using an outside source, the first time you use them, it is good to address them in the sentence. The last example is a paraphrase. We will talk more about a paraphrasing, summarizing, and quoting as we move on in this course. You also have an assignment to read for next class about the three of them, but this is a paraphrase. A paraphrase is saying something very similar to the original quotation in about the same length. So in this paraphrase, it says Wordsworth extensively explored the role of emotion in the creative process. Because it is a paraphrase, it also needs to be cited. Here are some additional common rules. Now at the end of this video I will give you a style guide that you can look at that has a plenitude of rules for various situations. So these are just a few other common ones for print sources. If you're using a source that for whatever reason has no author, then your parenthetical citation, again at the end of the sentence, should include a shortened version of the title. If you're using a source that has 3 or more authors, and that is not uncommon for scholarly journals, and we'll talk more about that later in the semester, include all authors' names in either the text or in the parenthetical citation. And then if you're using multiple works by the same author, include a shortened version of each title in the parenthetical citation so your instructor, me, knows which title you're specifically referencing. For non-print sources, you will use a lot of internet sources in your courses, including this one. You want to make sure that these sources are credible. We will be talking in the next few weeks about how to evaluate sources, in particular electronic sources. For a non-print source, though, for the in-text citation, you should include in the text what is the first item that will appear on the works cited page, whether it's the author or whether it's the article title or the name of the website. One thing you should not do, though, whether in text or on your works cited page, is include the actual URL for the website. You should not do that. At the end of any essay is the works cited page, and the works cited page is an alphabetized list of all of the works you have consulted in a particular paper. This gives the publication information for each of the sources you have cited or paraphrased in your essay. I always tell students you want to be safe rather than sorry. Include any sources that you have consulted that have assisted in creating a particular paper. Here you can see an example of a works cited page. You can see it is a double space throughout. All of the subsequent lines of each citation are indented. There is a title. It is also the last page of the particular paper. You do want to reference the Brief Penguin Handbook, the Lester Fegley book, for examples about how to show these different types of citations. Be sure, though, to include what type of citation it is, whether it is web or print, at the end of each citation. Here are some specific things to consider when creating your works cited page. Put quotation marks around the titles of poems, short stories, essays, and articles. It does say underline the titles of books and names of newspapers or journals. In the new or the newer from 2009 MLA guidelines, you are supposed to italicize those. So please italicize the names of books, newspapers, and journals. Do not indent the first line of each entry, but indent any additional lines 5 spaces. If several cities are listed for the place of publication, give only the first. For the publisher, use shortened names as long as they are clear, and then double space throughout the works cited page. This is a basic works cited entry for a book. You can see at the top you would put the last name of the author, then the first name, a period, the title of the book in italics, not underlined, the place of publication, which you can find at the beginning of the book at the publisher, the year of publication, and then again the medium of publication, whether that's print or in web. And again below you can see this one example. Here you can see a very basic format for a website. For the works cited page, it begins with the editor or author's name, if that's available, then followed by the article name. If it does not have an editor or author or name of an organization, then you would actually start the citation with the article name. Followed by that is the name of the site in italics, just like a book. The version number, the name of the institution, organization affiliated with the site, the date of last update of the site, which you can normally find in the bottom right hand corner, the medium of publication, and the date that you access the site. Here are some example website entries for a works cited page that you can look at. When you are ready to go to the next slide, please hit continue. That concludes this video about MLA formatting. Again, later in the class, we will talk about other types of formatting, including APA formatting. And you do not have to have any outside sources for your first paper. Again, you don't have to have any outside sources for paper 1, but I wanted to go ahead and introduce MLA formatting because we will be using it or incorporating it into all of our subsequent papers. So thanks again, and please email me any questions you have.